Hey, this is DarkWorldBAMF, bringing you live for a Dark World deck profile. You guys will realize that this is a deck profile I've already put on, just so you could see it better. I'm going to go a little bit more in-depth with it. So, 3 Graphas, engine of the deck. I do have 1 gold Grapha. I'm very happy about that. I got it the other day at my local store for $3. So, 3 Graphas. Whenever he's discarded the graveyard by a card effect, blow up a card. And whenever he's card destructioned or something else by an opponent's card effect, I can choose a card in their hand. And if it's a monster, special summon it. It's a pretty good card. You need to have 3. You cannot have a Dark World deck without 3 Graphas. Or 3 Snows, for that matter. Snow, she's the search engine of the deck. Whenever she's discarded the graveyard by a card effect, you can search for 1 Dark World card. So that could be a monster of any sort, or a Dark World Dealings, or Gates, which are the only Dark World spells that I really recommend you run, because Gateway is just dumb. Beige, simple. He's a special summon from the grave when discarded. You know, pretty simple. Brow, draw 1 whenever discarded. Silva and Gold have very similar effects, except for one thing. Silva, if discarded, they both get special summoned from the grave by being discarded. But Silva, if it's an opponent's monster, or opponent's effect, he bounces 2 to the bottom of the deck. Gold blows him up. So, those are the Dark World cards that you need. You don't need Scar or any of them else. I did try running the deck without Gold and Silva, and it sucked. I mean, it was a strong deck. It really was. But it wasn't as strong as I wanted it to be. So, I was lucky enough to be able to get some at my local tournament. I mean, this is a brand new build. So, I didn't do too well, because I wasn't too familiar with it. But, I went to a church tournament, and, you know, I got familiar with it, practiced with it, and it's a freaking powerful deck. And that's just the Dark World monsters. We're not even done with the monsters yet, so. Alright, into the other monsters of the deck. First off, we're going to show off 3 Trances. Trance is the discard engine. You need him in a Dark World deck. Once per turn, you can discard a Fiend-type monster. He'll gain 500, so it can go into any of the Dark World effects pretty easily. And whenever he's destroyed, you can recycle a banish, so you can just keep using gates, basically. Sangan, you know, go into Trance or Brow or Morphing Jar, so. Thunder King prevents searching. The only search engine of the deck is Snow, so if I've used them all up, Snow. Yeah, Thunder King's a good card. You know, just needs to be run. Gourds, of course. Dark Worlds like to go big and hard. And whenever they're empty, they're defenseless. And then, like, pretty freaking obvious, a Morphing Jar. I mean, if you're running a Dark World deck without a Morphing Jar, you're an idiot. So that's the monsters of the deck. Oh, and yes, I did get that Morphing Jar from the tournament, and guess what it's from? Konami, you better be paying me for advertising. It's out of the LCW Legendary Collection Yugi's World. That's Legendary Collection 3. Better be paying me for that advertisement. Oh, and yes, this one's also from the Legendary Collection. Card Destruction. Secret. Pretty obvious. Pot of Avarice. This is not mine. My friend's letting me borrow it. I'm trying to get it from him, so pretty easy. You know, monsters go into the grave pretty fast with this deck, so recycle, draw 2, start over. Heavy Storm, getting rid of opponent's backfield. Monster Reborn is pretty obvious. 3 Gates of the Dark World. This is what I usually search for with Snow's effect, because I will draw into things with Snow's effect that I can use. So I can just keep banishing and discarding the Snow so I can keep drawing or something. And, you know, it's pretty good strategy. I mean, it's a fast one, too. 3 Dragdowns. I do have 2 supers out of the Legendary Collection. So, pretty obvious, if you have a Dark World deck without it, you're dumb. You shouldn't be playing the deck. But, drag down, you look at your opponent's hand and they look at your hand. You usually only do this whenever you have a hand full of Dark Worlds, so that they have to pick one. But they discard a card from your hand, and you discard a card from their hand and draw one. And then pretty obvious Dark World dealings. So, yeah, those are the spells. I'm going into the traps. Alright. Solemn Warning. Or the Solemn Brigade. I need another Solemn Warning to complete the Solemn Brigade, but you want the Solemn Brigade. It protects you. It keeps you alive. It's pretty down pat. Mind Crush goes great with drag down. You look at your opponent's hand so you know what's in their hand, and then you call it out, and they have to get rid of it. You can tear apart your opponent with that combination. And 2 Reckless Greed. I side another one, so here, look at this pretty morphing jar. While I get the side deck and extra deck out. Alright. Extra deck. Fabled Valkyrus. I'm going to get 2 more, and I'm also going to get some Fabled Reagans for draw power, and this is a Gates without the banishing, so Gem Knight Pearl, Adrius, obvious, I'm going to get like 1 more. Utopia, going to get a couple more of those, and I don't really know why I have the Zen mains in here. I tore apart my 6 Samurai, so I think I just threw it in there, but if you decide to run a tour guide, Zen mains would be good in this deck. Then onto the side deck. Hold on. Yes, as you can see, it is a Raviel in the side deck. Just because, you know, if my opponent has big monsters and I need to get big plays out. Alright, so the side deck. Raviel, pretty obvious, attributing 3 Fiends, which basically all the monsters are Fiends. Yeah, you contribute monsters, and it gains equal to the original attack, so Chaos Sork, in order to get rid of stuff. Churburl, Synchro, Raven, gonna get a couple more of him and a couple more Churburl. DD Crow, obviously. If I get a big monster out of the, like, say they do Stardust Dragon's effect in a gate, I can just DD Crow that guy, and he's gone for the game. Like, that's a perfect thing to do. I also side another Reckless. I side Mirror Force. Side Magic Cylinder. Dark Hole. Book. And 3 MSTs. So yeah, that's my Dark World deck. Like I said in the other video, please leave your comments if you have anything that you would like to help me out with. Heck, if you want to buy it, just tell me a price. But yeah, it's a pretty basic deck. I mean, it took me like 10 minutes to get this build because, you know, I had my 6 Samurai deck. And I just walked around saying, hey, anybody want some Samurai trades, you know? And they helped me out. They got me a lot of my main deck and side deck things. I mean, they told me to not main Raviel and not even side it, but I decided to side it because, you know, Raviel's a boss. He's just like, hey, I'm Obelisk's son or something. And then he's just like, bitch slap, bitch slap, bitch slap. So, alright, so that's DarkWorldBAMF signing out.